Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories tonight. Sessions at the World Economic Forum on Africa opens in Abuja. President Goodluck Jonathan says kidnap of Chibok schoolgirls is the beginning of the end for terror in Nigeria. The United States intelligence says abducted Chibok schoolgirls may have been split up. The Chinese premier announces increase in credit line for Africa from $10 billion to $30 billion. And South Africa's President Jacob Zuma wins a commanding victory in the country's general elections. All our top stories can be found on our websites, ChannelsTv.com and on YouTube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And don't forget that you can also follow or send your thoughts on the World Economic Forum Africa to a Twitter handle. It's at ChannelsTV_NG with the hashtag WEFA. If you want to watch World Economic Forum Africa live, just visit m.channelstv.com/WEF. We encourage you to interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions to share your reports, pictures, and your videos. African leaders have been urged to scale up commitments and investments more in the agricultural sector to reduce poverty and boost security in the region. The African Development Bank president and other leaders urge continent leaders to improve infrastructure with the resources available to ensure inclusive development. Our correspondent Gloria Umezoke reports.
In 2003, African governments committed to spend 10% on agriculture, but only 8 countries kept that promise. The pressure on leaders to increase agriculture investments is growing as a means to kickstart economies, end insecurity, and create decent jobs, especially in Nigeria, where over 14 million families depend on agriculture for their means of livelihood.
The first thing is infrastructure. And the reason being, it is not an end in itself. It is to make markets function. To make that poor farmer in Kaduna get the tomatoes, the cabbages, the fruits to the market. To reduce the post-harvest losses.
The issue of financial products, access to finance. Through the commodity exchanges for instance was set up, we can, and the warehouses we are managing can help to create certain financial products that farmers can take to banks and have access to finance.
In spite of the numerous achievements by the Nigerian government, the Minister of Agriculture is wooing foreign investors into the sector.
When you have about, 45% of all the deaths in Africa of kids below the age of 5 happening because of lack of food, then you understand that stunting becomes a problem. So I think there are particular major things that we must talk about, not just the money part, but what is the impact that is having on women? What is it happening in terms of nutrition?
Statistics further reveal that 500,000 Nigerians have signed an ongoing petition with other African leaders to support this cause.
Well, also at the heart of this call for greater investment in agriculture is an effort to push political leaders to adopt better policies that would boost productivity and help lift millions of Africans out of extreme poverty. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
We'll take a break from the World Economic Forum to talk about security here in Nigeria. The Economic Community of West African States has expressed solidarity with Nigeria and the people in the face of the terrorist attacks ravaging the country. The chairman of ECOWAS and Ghanaian President Mr. John Mahama disclosed this to journalists after a closed-door meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan after the opening session of the World Economic Forum for Africa holding in the Federal Capital Territory. The ECOWAS chairman welcomed the intervention by the United States, the United Kingdom, China and other superpowers, describing terror as an evil wind that blows no one any good. Our State House correspondent, Chukwuma Honekusi, has more.
From the plenary session, the President continued to receive solidarity support from some African and world leaders who found time to be at the conference venue. While President Kikwete came from Tanzania, President John Mahama, who is currently the chairman of ECOWAS, came from Ghana. He told President Goodluck Jonathan the plan by ECOWAS to help Nigeria fight terrorism.
I came on behalf of our other ECOWAS heads of state to express our solidarity with the people of Nigeria, government and people of Nigeria, in the face of these terrorist, attacks that have been occurring. As you are aware, ECOWAS has a common anti-terrorism strategy, and so as chair of ECOWAS, I have been speaking with the other heads of state, and they believe that we should activate that anti-terrorism strategy. So we are looking to call a meeting of our joint intelligence chiefs, in Accra next week, and we're inviting Cameroon and Chad to join, so that together we can see how we eliminate this security threat to the sub-region.
The former president of Brazil was also present to discuss with Nigeria's president. The Prime Minister of Mali brought a message from the president, while the United States ambassador to Nigeria came to follow up on his country's support for Nigeria.
As you know, the other day, Secretary of State John Kerry spoke with the president about U.S. assistance against Boko Haram, in particular finding these poor girls who are missing. This morning, the president and I have had a short conversation just following up on the details of that, so that the assistance that we give to find these girls, the U.S. team that comes, is focused on exactly what you need. Obviously, I can't discuss the details, but this is just more coordination on giving you the assistance you need to find these poor young Nigerian women.
Many Nigerians will want to know when the U.S. is deploying.
Soon, I hope. I have to go back to my office and look at the details, but the team is coming soon. We want it to be focused on the right issues. That's what I've been talking with your government about, and Mr. President and I were touching on the same things.
There is no doubt that more countries and world bodies will continue to show solidarity with Nigeria in these trying times. They also expect that Nigerians will shun political divide and give them the necessary support. That is the only way to not only find the missing girls, but completely nip terrorism in the world. Chukwuma Honekusi, Channels Television News.
Well, the U.S. intelligence in Nigeria believes the kidnapped girls from Government Girls Secondary School, Chibok, have been split into groups. This comes just today after President Goodluck Jonathan announced his acceptance of an offer by his U.S. counterpart, President Barack Obama, to help in the search for the missing girls. President Barack Obama has condemned the abduction, describing it as a terrible and heartbreaking situation. The U.S. has listed Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization, placing a $7 million bounty on the sect's leader, Abubakar Shekau. The U.S. has not promised to provide troops on the ground, but will be offering satellite and air surveillance through drones, as well as bringing military advisors to help units of the Nigerian military. Well, Canada has joined the United States and the UK in pledging assistance to the federal government in its efforts at finding the missing Chibok schoolgirls. The Canadian Minister of International Development, Mr. Christian Paradis, told journalists in Abuja today that Canada is standing by Nigeria in its trying moment and would offer assistance that would help in rescuing the girls. Mr. Paradis was speaking at the signing of the Foreign Investments Protection Agreement with Nigeria.
We've made great progress together, but more is to do, and this remains a priority for our government. So I look forward to welcoming Nigerian officials to Canada later this month at the Saving Every Woman, Every Child Summit in Toronto. Canada has also pledged help to increase employment and business opportunities for Nigerians and particularly in areas that can help to fuel the country's economic growth. These include agriculture, forestry and mining sectors. Of course, one of the keys to attracting foreign investment is political stability. Good governance, democratic development, and respect for human rights are crucial to building a peaceful and prosperous Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the world's largest Muslim group has condemned the Boko Haram Islamists for what they call the seemingly senseless cruelty and violent attacks against civilians. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation denounced the mass abduction of schoolgirls in Nigeria by Boko Haram, saying its actions are not something even Al-Qaeda would condone. The group says Boko Haram's action is a gross misinterpretation of Islam and urges members to surrender the schoolgirls. Protests have continued calling for the rescue of the 273 schoolgirls from Chibok in Borno State who were abducted about 3 weeks ago. But protesters were locked out of the Maitama amusement park today, which is their new meeting point. Many of them expressed disappointment at the action, saying they will not be intimidated. They promised to continue with the protests on a daily basis until the girls are rescued.
As early as 3 p.m., members of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign gathered at the Maitama amusement park to continue their protest for accelerated efforts to rescue the abducted schoolgirls in Chibok, Borno State. But to their shock, the gate leading to the park was under lock and key. This, however, did not discourage them as they went to an open space by the park to hold their meeting.
We're here now outside Maitama Amusement Park because we had a meeting yesterday here. On arriving this afternoon, we met a padlock on the gate. We know that Maitama Amusement Park, a portion of it is a public park that we are allowed access to. A portion of it has been concessionaire, but there's a public part that we should go to. So because it was locked out, we've decided to have our meeting on the outside by the side of the road, and we'll continue doing that here until we are able to gain access back to the Inti Fountain post-World Economic Forum.
When they finally settled down, the deliberations for the day commenced. The leaders of the group rejected suggestions of raising funds for the group.
We have not in any way launched any online donation initiative. The Bring Our Girls Back campaign does not have any fundraising that it has launched.
Residents of Osun and Ibadan also took the campaign for the return of the schoolgirls to major streets of the cities as they demanded a step-up of rescue operations for the abducted girls.
The only way we can give succor to the affected parents, particularly mothers, is for the Nigerian government, not government. Nigerian government to rally round and ensure that we rescue these children as soon as possible.
Our mothers of tomorrow. And if you look at the mothers of tomorrow, at an average of 4 children per year, they have kidnapped close to 936 girls.
It's 24 days after over 200 girls were abducted by members of the Boko Haram sect. The demand of these protesters is for government to expedite action in rescuing the girls.
When the news at 10 returns, the Delta State government and residents disagree over ongoing cleanup of Warri Oil City. Please join us again.